Stalker, giant stalker, dragon stalker, crypt stalker, demon stalker, rift stalker, grown stalker, crypt stalker, scourge stalker, wind runner. I'm a pony, lead skill hunter. A death dealer, a life stealer. That's just the cost of being awesome.
Welcome to episode 247 of the Hunting Party Podcast. I'm Darkbrew from thebrewhall.com and the Brew Hall on Twitter.
I'm Delirium from Thrill of the Wild and at Delerium Hunts on Twitter.
And I'm RogerBrown from methodwild.com and at methodroger on Twitter.
All right, today is Sunday, October the 9th, 2016, and we are broadcasting live on twitch.tv. You can participate in the live chat room where our lovely moderator, Ali Sonder, is there to take your questions. And so this is good. So I was going to say, today's the 9th. I think our next show will be towards the end of October. And if I'm correct, I think that'll be the last one right before BlizzCon. So BlizzCon 2016, not that far off. You're about a month away, I guess. But since we do the show every other week, it's going to come up quick. So I think all of us, most people are going. Like Roger, you'll be there, I think, right? This time?
Yep.
Delirium, of course, you're going. I'll be there. And Synth, you're going to be there this time.
Absolutely. Excited as hell.
And Ali will be there in spirit as always. So.
No Bendak.
No Bendak either.
Aww.
And no Bendak today as well. So I forget what he had going on, but he's out for a little bit here. But we got.
I was expecting him to say his line, yeah, and I'm like,
yeah.
he's not here. Oh,
yeah, he's not here. So it's good. Well, welcome back, Roger. It's good. It's always great to have you back. So we've got a bunch of things we want to go through today, but be remiss if we didn't talk about the Emerald Nightmare and the whole mythic deal. So why don't we start with that and talk about how that went for you and what that was like this time around?
Well, it was a kind of a bittersweet feeling, I guess, because obviously we did really well. We got the world second, but it was a strange feeling that, okay, I've been playing this game basically all day for a whole month, getting ready for this raid after 14 months, and then it's over, like before I can even get into progression mode, let's say. So it was a weird feeling. Like, we finished it, the last boss was easier than I don't know, the last, like the Ilginoth, the iBoss, and Scenarios were harder than Xavius. So it was like, I guess it's over. Okay, it's really anticlimactic finish, let's say, yeah, compared to the usual nerd screams, GG, and yeah. I'm a bit disappointed in that regard, but obviously glad that we performed really good.
Yeah, and I was just wondering, it seemed to go very fast, and I mean, usually I know these first opening raids of the expansion tend to be a little bit easier, I think, than what they pull later on. I mean, they just like to get sort of people used to raiding again, I guess, although I don't know how many people really get unused to it per se. But I don't know, the Emerald Nightmare just seemed to be one of the easier raids that they've implemented in a while. It seemed that way to you. I mean, it was over that first week, right? It didn't even go into the second week for Mythic for anyone.
I mean, it took us 1.5 days to finish it, and the Russians actually did it in 1 day, like on Wednesday. The thing is, yeah, it was definitely, I think, the easiest I've ever done, and I think it's because of the Mythic Plus. That's like the reason why it felt so easy, because they tuned it like they've always done, in my opinion at least.
Mm-hmm.
But in the past, in WoD, for example, all you could do is get, what was it, a 640 item? I can't remember, 640. And every day, a random item, you couldn't even control what you got from doing one challenge mode. Now you could just literally spam all week Mythic Plus, all day, every day. I think we boosted half the population of World of Warcraft, all the top guilds combined, yeah, because we were asking for people to give us their keys and we boost them, etc. it was just crazy, and you got so much more gear, and you could even see that in the heroic week already, to be honest, that it felt easier because of the mythic zeros, even. Because in the past you could get an item per day, and now you could do all 8 dungeons, or 10 if you got your characters attuned on mythic zero, and that's way more loots than you had previously. So I think it's just a tuning, let's say. They didn't take it into account.
Yeah.
So-
So having both Warforged and Titanforged on all the Mythic and Mythic Plus gear gave for some pretty insane pieces before raid opened.
Yeah, exactly. They had it capped at 850 until the heroic week. I think they should have kept it that way, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because then, like, my thought was, before going into this, my thought was we're going to be around 860, 865 eye level for Mythic. And what ended up happening was no one was below 865 at all, and there were people above 870, which is just crazy. It's like you're already fully geared with heroic gear. And obviously you're supposed to clear Mythic with that gear. And that's what happened. It was way easier.
Right?
So did it make split runs a lot less meaningful?
In a sense, yeah. Yeah. We actually went kind of crazy on that because they released it, the change last minute, what they were doing with capping the Mythic Plus, etc. So we actually made a 6th character, and we did 6 mythic raids, 6 heroic raids, sorry. But yeah, in the end, I think it was kind of half and half. Like, you got half your gear from Mythic Plus, half the gear from heroic, half a few pieces you didn't even upgrade from before. So definitely lost a lot of value compared to what it was before. Before, you had to like really focus on the heroic raids and make sure you don't lose any gear and think very hard on who you're going to give the gear. Now, I mean, you had the Mythic Plus, and you could just spam the Mythic Plus dungeon you wanted to get the item that you're missing. And, well, that was mainly Arcane Court of Stars, because generally that's where the best gear is. Yeah.
So compared to Exorcist, I guess, who did get the world first. I mean, how do you know how your gear compared to theirs? Do you think it was comparable, or do you think it was maybe?
I think pretty much. The only difference was I think that they had a bit artifact.
Roger.
Yeah, I think you
Hello?
cut out there. Could you just repeat that again, Roger? You cut out.
Oh, sorry.
Everyone. That's okay.
Yeah, as I was saying, I think the gear was pretty much the same, but they had an extra artifact trait on average on us because they just did so much farming of AP. I think our average was 25.5, and they had like 26.5 average or something crazy. I don't know. Or, yeah, I don't remember, to be honest, but I did check a lot of their characters, and they had 26 traits, most of them. Which is pretty crazy.
Right. And what about legendaries? How did that work out? I mean, did you guys have a fair number of legendaries? Do you think they had a fair number of legendaries in it?
Yeah. So I don't know what happened, but at some point during the Mythic Plus week, it was just raining legendaries right and left. Yeah. We literally got, I think, like 10 every day or something crazy. Well, maybe less, maybe like 6 or something per day. So yeah, I think in the end, every single person had a legendary. Now, if it was the best one, obviously not for everyone. But yeah, some people got a second, a third legendary. And yeah. It wasn't a big deal. Because of how they made it end up being. Yep. I got the best one, so I didn't complain, at least.
Yeah, and I think we'll talk about legendaries in just a little bit, which ones are good and bad. But overall, I mean, I've liked the dungeon, the raid so far. I mean, it seems like the encounters and everything are fun. Nothing overly complex. And I haven't touched set foot in Mythic yet, so I don't know how much different these Mythic encounters are. But they always seem to add more abilities, more stuff. So it's obviously much harder, generally speaking. But I don't know. It just seemed like a very quick quick
Yeah.
raid this time around, and fewer bosses as well. It wasn't very big. There weren't that many bosses, and it was just I don't see many people really struggling with it so far.
Hmm. Yeah, the only boss that was a disappointment in Mythic, like a big disappointment, was Xavius, because there's not really an extra mechanic, basically. It was really weird. And you get there and you expect to be like, oh, what's going to be different? How hard will this be? And it's literally the same fight. It's even easier mechanic-wise, I would say. But obviously it has more HP and stuff.
Mhm.
But it was just, I don't know, like really easy. There was nothing extra. I don't know. Maybe they messed up and they they gave a wrong version of the boss or something. Because I think it was supposed to do. We did data mine some abilities, Wowhead and stuff, and but they were just not there. The extra stuff. So because like the blades that go
Mhm.
through two people,
Yes.
we did data mine that they were supposed to leave something on the ground where they passed through. So basically you couldn't stand there anymore, right?
Hmm.
So you had to think a lot more of where you want to put those things. You didn't just randomly AFK them. We even used like a similar radar to Archimond, which you probably know.
Mhm.
So we could even see the line. So it was just, if you're in the line, move out of the line. That's it. No thought process. Whereas if that was actually the case, you couldn't, like, you basically had to make some room management. Then it changes the whole fight just by that. It's yeah. Anyways, oh well. Maybe Nighthold will be more challenging in terms of mechanics.
And that's a ways off, right? I mean, I don't think they've said when Nighthold's gonna be, but I think the expectation is probably not till after the end of the year, perhaps, for that one.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be end of January or something
Yeah.
like that, somewhere around there.
Yeah. So what do you guys do till then? At this point, I guess you just keep running it till you max out the gear, or
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there is this raid that's supposed to come. I don't know when. I'm hoping and assuming that it's gonna be after BlizzCon, because if it's before BlizzCon, I don't know what I'm doing.
right? Yeah. No, is
Yeah,
that
go
part of 7.1? I guess they're including. Yeah. So yeah, I would be surprised if they launched 7.1 before BlizzCon. To be honest with you.
Yeah, same. But who knows? Maybe they'll do it. And so yeah, that might keep things interesting. I don't think the raid will be a big deal. It's only 3 bosses. I'm assuming the first 2 bosses are gonna be pretty easy, and then maybe the last boss, takes a little while, but it's only 3 bosses. I mean, how long will it take? I'm assuming it's gonna take 1 or 2 days again. Yeah. Nighthold is where it's at, though, in terms of actual big raid with mechanics and strategies and all that jazz, instead of just nuking the bosses.
Yeah, I mean that's what it sounds like. That Nighthold is going to be what feels like, you say, like the more traditional sort of raid, where in terms of difficulty and the expected, I guess, length of time perhaps to get through it. I mean, I think they said what they would like to see the lifespan of a raid to be, 4 to 5 months maybe, but it certainly doesn't feel like Emerald Nightmare is going to get you there.
It's closer to 4 or 5 hours. But
yeah. For you guys especially, and I even think for the rest of the folks, for us average folks who just take our time as it were, it just doesn't feel like this is going to be a long ordeal here.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at some of the bosses, because we obviously tested them in the beta. There's some really cool bosses. There's like a council boss, let's say, with three bosses, and you have 6 possible fights in that, because depending on who you kill first and second, it's a different thing, right? So it's going to be really interesting. You have 6 possible scenarios. If you you got to see which one is the easiest, which one you want to go for. Probably going to be some trial and error in that, and you're going to have to think, what do I want to do? And then you're like, oh, this is not possible. I have to go and kill him first. That's way more interesting than I don't know, like the dragon bosses had some potential, the Dragons of Nightmare,
Right.
but then they were just so undertuned that you don't even care what dragon is up. Like I literally don't even know which dragon is up. I just look at my screen and I just react to what I see. That's all you need to do, and just DPS the boss.
I know exactly what you mean. You're just adjusting to whatever mechanic is being put in front of you there, and you're not really,
Exactly.
It's like, okay, yes, I know what to do here. Oh, stand next to the flower or whatever, and you just deal with them as they come, without really having to pay much attention to which one is actually out there.
Yeah, the only thing you need to look out for if you're an hunter is when are those spirit ads spawning, so I can jump a couple of spots on the damage meter, you know? Yeah.
Indeed.
Okay, and how's your progression going, Delirium? I know you've been working on heroic. I guess have you guys cleared that now at this point, or still making your way?
Yeah, we're through. I've actually missed about a week of raiding. I'm in the process of moving now, so I'm actually even not at I set up my computer at a friend's house just for this show. So I've been out of the loop for about a week.
And as far as hunters go, I mean, all the fights seem fine for hunters. I don't really know that there's anything that, what's your take, Roger? Are there any that you feel like really favor hunters or anything? I don't think there's anything that really hurts hunters per se.
Yeah, it's just so funny that everyone was like, "Oh, did you see the survival? What's it called? The simcrafts. Yeah. Oh, survival is gonna be sick. What do you think about survival, Roger?" And then no one actually plays survival because that's how it is. Like in a raid environment, is just so much better. You can passively cleave, spread out targets. So you take the Ilginoth fight, for example. That's like the dream fight for a hunter. Dream fight. I don't know if there's ever gonna be a fight where we are so OP. You just cleave everything down. No one else can do it. Mobs are so spread out, as good as you. And yeah, like survival, for example, like the only fights where it can be decent is single target. So yeah, to go back to actual spec, it was really good on every single fight, I think. And some fights it was insane, some fights it was okay, but didn't feel like you're holding back your team like you did in the past sometimes, you know?
Right. And there were no special jobs either, which, we didn't have to sit there and grab a flamethrower and,
yeah,
set grass on fire for the whole fight,
Yeah, the only thing that there is on the Dragons of Nightmare, you need a team of people to go in and kill an ad in those portals, but we just put our melee basically go in there. Doesn't really matter. It's like whatever. Yeah, that's I think the only actual extra job that someone needs to do in this dungeon. There's nothing else really.
No, and so it's just like I said, yeah, I've enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed playing it as marksman for sure too. And I don't know how are the Beast Mastery hunters doing, because I don't know. I see very few survival hunters out there in general, and I don't know how many people are actually playing it and raiding with it. It's just such a different spec. For someone like me who's been playing a hunter, and a big reason why I chose hunter is because I like the ranged aspect to it. So I don't really have a lot of interest in playing a melee class, which is essentially what this turns the hunter into the melee. So I'm just not that interested in playing melee all that much. But I don't know how popular. It just seems like sort of a failed experiment at this point in time.
I don't know if I can't remember if I said this in a previous show, but I just don't see a reason why do we have a third spec, like, I don't know. Did I say this before? How I think classes should lose an extra spec, the extra spec.
I don't know. It's weird. We're not, we're a pure DPS class, and I don't know if rogues or mages or warlocks suffer from the same problem. Maybe they do. I just don't really spend any time playing those classes, so I don't know how their three specs compare to one another.
I just think it's silly because like right now, for example, I see the rogues, right?
Mhm.
And Blizzard said that we're not gonna make a different spec be better than the current one because of the artifact power that you guys invest in.
Right, right.
And then literally 2 days or something before Progress comes out, they nerf Outlaw and they buff the other specs, and now suddenly Assassination is better.
Mhm.
And you just feel cheated. It's just so annoying. So I don't know if there's only 2 specs, maybe they can focus it better and balance them better, because right now it was like out of control a bit, and obviously they have to make some changes. That's mainly why I don't. Yeah, I don't know if rogues need the 3rd spec. Like just make 2 specs and balance them out better instead of wasting your time on a 3rd spec and then having to juggle all 3 specs. Yeah, but regardless, I think the Hunter one is the most obvious. I don't know. I don't even want to play Survival, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. It's just something that I don't even have interest in trying right now. That's.
I mean, I think they messed up by creating it the same time they introduced Demon Hunters, because everything that was fun and unique about Hunters that could have applied to a melee class, they added to Demon Hunters, like extremely high mobility, disengage, all that stuff. They just kind of screwed Survival Hunters by making Demon Hunters.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I have no interest in playing a tank either, but I mean, you almost wonder if they should have just made Survival a tanking spec at this point. I mean, you know,
That would be interesting. I would play that for sure. Yep.
you know, that might have been might have been the way to go, since it just seems hard to come up with 3 interesting, you know, pure DPS specs for the hunter that you would want to dip and play into each one. Now, I mean, are you doing any beast mastery at all, Roger? Have you tried to maintain that artifact weapon at all, just in case you need to raid with that at all, or?
Yeah, so I was pretty set on playing Survival. Sorry. Oof. Wow. I can cut that from
the truth comes out, right? Uh-oh.
please edit that out. Yeah, thank you. I was focused on MM, so I put all my artifact power in so I could reach the 26th trait.
Mm-hmm.
So I had my BM weapon way behind at 13. So right now I'm on the process of catching up. I don't really want to play the BM spec until I have the 3rd big trait, so 26 traits. So I'm right now I think I'm at 22 or something. So I'm getting there. I don't really want to play the spec when it's gonna do way less damage, and up until that point it will suffer a lot. Plus I have less HP, so I don't really want to do it right now. Maybe when I've caught up with the artifact, then I'll try it out and see how it performs, because it got buffed a bit as well. Yeah, the Bestial Wrath. Yeah, should be interesting.
Yeah, and it's fun too. I mean, sometimes I'm well, for most everything I'll do marksmanship, but occasionally if I'm doing world quests or something like that, I'll switch to BM just to have the the dual pets out there and everything else. And so because it is sort of a fun spec, but I mean, but I've been sort of purely marksmanship for pretty everything. And I mean, there's some nice things, some nice talents there if you need a little bit of extra help, like doing world quests and things. You can play with a pet. You can get talent like Black Arrow to get a little bit of tanking in there. It's not, as the gear gets higher, it's not as necessary to have that, but it's a lot of flexibility with the marksmanship spec, and actually enjoying it more than I thought I would this expansion.
Yeah, and just wait until you start getting insane gear, because that's the thing. MM, the way it's made, it's gonna be so OP to do world quests and stuff in the future. Once we hit, like, let's say 900 eye level, you're literally gonna just one-shot everything. It's crazy. You just drop a Sidewinders and then just mark-shot everything and it's dead. VM is gonna be way worse in that regard, because you have to wait for the pet to go from target to target or gather them all up. I mean, who has time for that? Just Sidewinders and it cleaves like the whole area. It's just crazy. So yeah, I'm playing MM on everything. I have actually though switched my loot spec to BM, because right now I have acquired both the boots and the belt of the marksmanship.
Wow.
So I'm ready for some nice BM legendaries. Let's go.
Well, let's talk about these. I do have that in here because we hadn't really covered them much. So let's talk a little bit about the legendaries that are available for hunters. You've got two. I'm still waiting to get that first one. Have you gotten one yet, Delirium?
I have gotten nothing.
Nothing. I know Bendak he's gotten one. He got it relatively early on. I forget which one. He got the neck, I believe is what he got.
He joined the Magnum Opus Club. Oh,
yeah, the
nice.
Magnum Opus Club, exactly, which is for what it does is it's a legendary necklace which it has an absorb shield for like 15% of your health for 30 seconds, and I think if you do not take damage for 5 seconds. So yeah, it's not so great.
It's bad.
I don't.
Yep.
We try and make him feel better. It's like, well, now you can just stand in stuff and up your damage that way by not moving when you're standing in something bad, because you've got this awesome neck to protect you.
We actually had a guy in our guild who got the Magnum Opus. He was the first legendary, and then he got it on his alt as well. The first legendary on that, like his first 2 legendaries were 2 Magnum Opus. I was like, oh god. But yeah, for the legendaries that you're saying, okay, I don't know. Do you want to go through them one by one? Or?
Yeah, we can go through them. So there's another one. There's the Shadow Hunter's Voodoo Mask, which is a helmet. Heals you for 20% of your maximum health whenever you use Feign Death, as well as an additional 5% of your health every second for 10 seconds, as long as you remain feigned. So basically, it heals you when you feign death. Which,
yeah. The thing with that helm though is that I think it has the best stats though. Haste and mastery, and I think it's high mastery. So you get a lot of stats. So it's not that bad. As bad as the neck. Well, the neck has mastery as well. I don't know. At least it's nice that they put for us in those items.
Yeah, you started right. Yeah, the helmet does have haste and mastery, and it just sort of seems like a situational sort of tool. I mean, I'm trying to think when it really comes in handy. I mean, I suppose.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean,
maybe
if
Mythic
die,
Dungeons or something like that. Yeah, if you're about to die, it's a good way to feign, drop aggro, and get yourself healed up for sure.
Yep.
Exactly. What's the other one? There's legs. There's the roots of Saladrasil, which is legs that cause you to gain 4% health every 3 seconds as long as you stand still. And it says I think the first heal occurs 3 seconds after you stop moving. So,
thank God it has haste mastery.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just terrible. I don't know.
Right. I mean, if you see, usually it's like if you're in a position where you can stand still and don't have to move, you're probably not taking much in the way of damage.
I mean, maybe on scenarios because the damage is constant, but still, it's just bad.
Yeah.
Like that effect, I don't know what they were thinking, to be honest.
And then there's a ring, Sephuz's Secret. It's a legendary ring that gives you 70% increased movement speed and 15% haste for 10 seconds whenever you apply a crowd control effect, slow, a stun, or a root, for example. Which again, I don't know. That seems to me that have like PvP written all over it, I guess.
Yeah, actually, I haven't tried it out and I haven't really checked because I didn't get it. But I was hearing that you can actually get it to proc even if the target is immune. So if you use an ability on a boss, but I'm not sure if it applies to hunters. Like I read somewhere where a couple of abilities work with it, but I'm not sure about the hunter, to be honest. So maybe, I don't know, if anyone has it, they can let us know, I guess. But if that's the case, then it's not useless. It's okay.
No. And again, and those are just the ones that are available to to all specs. So I guess no matter what your hunter spec is, I guess you have a chance to get one of those. But there are, of course, spec specific legendaries as well. So we can go through the marksmanship ones. Do you want to cover some of these, Delirium?
Sure. Let's see. So, Roger, which two did you say you got?
The boots and the belt.
Well, that's a good place to start then. Yeah, so the war belt's coming in second highest in DPS increase, and the boots are coming in the highest. Is that what you're seeing?
Well, I mean, again, it's just simcrafts, right? Like it really depends on the fight. That's the thing. You can't just say, "Oh, this is better. Oh, this is worse," because on a fight like the Ilginoth fight, the belt is just insane. You get all those blobs. You do one sidewinders and you get 10 stacks instantly. So your aim shot does double damage. It's way better, especially because you don't really want true shot for something really. You just want it for the brain phases. So yeah, there the belt is a clear better choice. The problem with the boots mainly is that can you use true shot effectively on CD? Is it worth it? So obviously on a boss fight like Nithendra or Urshok, if you can squeeze in an extra true shot or two, then it's worth it. It's better, obviously. But on multi-target fights, it depends. It depends. I think both are really great, and I don't know. It's a hard choice for me to pick one as the better one, because I don't really think the simcrafts show the reality of the situation with them.
Well,
Yeah,
we're truly sorry for your dilemma.
Yeah, I feel like a dick now. Like, yeah.
I don't know if we
sorry.
I don't know if we said this, but the boots are what gives you get a second off the cooldown of True Shot every time you cast a damaging ability.
Right.
And the belt is what gives you a 10% buff to aim shot every time you cast multi-shot or sidewinders. So just I don't know if everybody heard that when Roger was talking about it.
Yeah, it's how many targets you hit with sidewinders, right? So if you hit 10 targets with your sidewinders, you get 10 stacks. You can stack up to 20. So you can do triple damage with your aim shots.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah, you see some big numbers sometimes.
Yeah, I'm particularly intrigued with how we can use that once the next patch comes in. When I think not using Patient Sniper or not using the Sidewinder's Patient Sniper combo will be more viable. I don't know if it'll be completely viable yet, but there's a lot more ways you can build up stacks even on single target with multi-shot spamming rather than waiting for Sidewinders. So we might see a lot more power coming out of this belt in the future.
Yeah, and just a quick note on the boots. Yeah, I don't know if people have seen this yet, but so the boots reduce your true shot cooldown by 1 second, right? Every damaging spell you use. Great. Then you have the traits that reduce the cooldown of true shot by 10 seconds. If you have the three traits, that's minus 30 seconds. If you get a relic that has it as well, that's an extra 10. So theoretically, you can get 3 of those relics and get it down by 60 seconds. So it's a 2-minute CD, and you have the boots reducing it by 1 second every time you use an ability. And then, if we go to Nighthold and you get the 2-piece, you actually reduce it every 20 focus by another second. Or is it? Yeah, I think it's 1 second every 20 focus that you spend. And then there is also a trinket which has a chance, I don't know, there's a chance to reduce it even more, the true shot. So, I don't know, I think it's going to be extremely crazy if you stack all of those things up. It's going to be bananas. It will feel like you have Bestial Wrath and not True Shot, basically.
I mean, like I say, is that like the dream for marksmanship hunters? Is that really sort of like the wow, like really a truly best case scenario. I mean, what does that reduce it to like almost nothing at that point? I mean, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think it will be like a 1 minute CD if you get all of those things that I said, and that's I don't know. Like when you use True Shot, you feel the difference. Trust me.
Yes.
And having
Wait,
that
so-
on a 1 minute CD, ooh, I don't know.
We might have just said this, but I forgot, and I haven't looked at my timer in a minute. We're at 10 days until 2 legendaries?
No, actually, I think if you leveled up instantly and you never delayed your order hall upgrades, I think you can get it in like 5 days from now.
Oh, wow.
I think I still need like almost 7 days though, because I didn't have the order resources. I didn't really care about it so much, but now I do.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that
that's right. Pretty soon you won't have to choose. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
So back to marksmanship legendaries. There are 2 others. One is called the Blasting Cap Launcher, which increases the damage of bursting shot by 800%, increases the range by 30 yards. And this is the 800 was a change really late in beta, right? If I recall correctly.
Yeah, it used to be I think 200.
Yeah, it was something. So the damage still didn't matter, but now it actually is damage you can use, and knockback's not much, but I don't know, but maybe it could be used in combination with some of the others, but it's not really a PvE oriented legendary.
No, I was just saying,
yeah.
does that even change your where that fits in the rotation at all? If you with that damage, or what does it do?
I think I heard that. Yeah, you're supposed to use it if you have them on your in your rotation. But honestly, the bad thing about them, I don't know how it works in raids, but like I'm pretty sure at least that it removes all dots from the target when you hit it. And I mean, you want to kind of use this on AoE, right? Because it's AoE damage.
Yes.
On single target, I mean, whatever. But on AoE, I think a lot of people will get mad if you remove all of their dots, right? So that's a bit of a pickle there. I don't know if there's maybe they've made a glyph to not do it. I don't know. I have not acquired a single glyph with any of my characters yet. No idea what you get from there.
Yeah, I don't know about your hunter, Roger, but I don't have any dots, so I don't see the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say you can just it's just if using it like trash or something like that, you can just nerf everybody else's damage and buff yours up.
Just don't tell them, yeah, because not a lot of people know this. So just act cool, yeah.
Yeah, and it's unfortunately a crit over haste stats, so not the best options. I are second and third best, but still, I don't want anything without mastery on it.
You're not gonna be happy if you get those bracers.
No.
I think it's probably one of the like worst 3 you can get, I guess.
And of course, the last one is Zevran's Hunger, which is a ring. Also crit, this time over mastery, and comes with a free socket, I believe. But it's just a 15% chance not to remove Hunter's Mark when you cast Mark Shot. So, what is that? Roughly 1 in 9 chance of.
Yeah, it seems kind of low to me. I was going to say 15% doesn't sound very high.
Yeah. When it procs, obviously, if you're AoEing, like in a dungeon and you pull 15 mobs, if it procs, obviously it's way crazy. Like, it's insane. But the chance, it's just the percentage is very low to make it, be that good. It's okay to have it, I guess. But if the chance was 30%, then it would actually be pretty decent legendary, I think. Because Mark Shot is really good. Really good.
And correct me if I'm wrong here, this is an all or none kind of deal. So it's not like it'll leave it up for 1 and you'll just be casting Mark Shot on 1 extra target. But it'll either leave it up for all of them or none of them.
Exactly. That's how it works.
Yeah, so that's all of the marksmanship legendaries, and then there are some beast mastery specific ones. Let's see, what is there's Call of the Wild, which are a pair of legendary bracers that reduce the cooldown of all aspects by 50%, which would be Aspect of the Wild, Cheetah, the much maligned cheetah at this point, Turtle, and Eagle if you're a survival hunter. So I think this is also, yeah, it's under the beast mastery, but I think it's also a legendary that you can get as a survival hunter as well.
Yep, it's really good. Both for the damaging aspect of it, especially for single target. If BM is going to be, because I don't know how it's going to be in Nighthold, you know, the gear scaling, the war sets, maybe they do some changes still, but it's really good single target if you go Killer Cobra, right? But the problem with Killer Cobra, and for anyone who doesn't know, it's during your Bestial Wrath, every time you use a Cobra shot, you reset your CD of kill command. So you want to go kill command, Cobra shot, kill command, Cobra shot, and have no downtime in between. But to achieve that, you kind of need the Aspect of the Wild as well. So if you get those bracers and you get the Aspect of the Wild down to 1 minute, then you can basically use it every second Bestial Wrath. Depends, I guess, yeah. But generally speaking, every second Bestial Wrath, and that's just crazy good, obviously. It's a really good increase in terms of DPS in that sense, and also survivability-wise, having the Aspect of the Turtle down 50% is obviously amazing.
Yeah, and that's a nice ability too. And if you can, you get those traits where you get the healing off of that as well, it can be very good.
Yeah, and Beast Mastery already has a trait that reduces Aspect of the Cheetah to 2 minutes. And when you use these bracers, I'm pretty sure last time I checked, it brings it down to 1 minute. So it's really good. Yeah. 1 minute Aspect of the Cheetah compared to 3 minutes.
But still, it's just Aspect of the Cheetah.
Right.
I'm not getting excited.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. I could use it a lot of times instead of disengaging, I guess, and yeah, could be good for some soaking things. We'll see. Like Aris, for example, clearing up the brambles. If you have those bracers, you can do it twice instead of once. It's really great. Yep.
So they also get a legendary belt called Roar of the Seven Lions, and this causes Bestial Wrath to also reduce the focus cost of all your abilities by 20%, which is a lot like how it used to work without the help of gear once upon a time.
It's a lot weaker than it used to be too.
Yes, it is. Was it 50% before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the best legendary in terms of overall DPS, though. So, yeah, it's good. Because it's flexible in terms of a single target and AOE, right?
Well, I think what it does really well is it lets you keep up during Bestial Wrath. You can often keep up your Beast Cleave and use all your kill commands, which is the big problem with Bestial Wrath. So you have to choose between AoE or priority damage. So this lets you, at least during your burst, get a little more priority damage while you're AoEing.
Let's see, for their boots, it's what is it, the Kapla Eridun War Order. And these are legendary boots, and they cause Dire Beast to reduce the remaining cooldown on kill command by 3.1 seconds. So more kill commands, I guess.
Yeah. Not the greatest. I don't know. Meh. I just want the bracers and the belt.
Yeah. Well, what about this one, this ring, the Apex Predator's Claw? This one's interesting. It's a lot like the talent we had last expansion. It's a legendary ring that causes your pet to gain the passive abilities of all three pet talent specializations, Cunning, Ferocity, and Tenacity, and also deal 10% additional damage. So, I mean, it's kind of like I forget what the talent was called last time, but that you allows Beast Mastery to get that super pet.
Right. So this is a pretty decent drink. It doesn't really matter that you get the extra things on your pet in terms of DPS. The only thing is you get like extra movement speed. You can catch up to the mobs faster.
Mhm.
Other than that, it's just stamina and like abilities. You know, like I don't know. It's not really important, but the 10% damage is pretty nice, and I think it's top 2 for AOE. Maybe it's even the
Is it?
top 1. I'm not sure. I think it's belt and then the ring for AOE. But for single target, the what's it called? The bracers are better.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, and this also has crit and mastery on it and a socket as well.
It also, some of the benefit here is that it sort of double dips with your mastery bonus. So it works multiplicatively with your mastery, not additionally. So you get a little bit more than you're especially most, I think BM hunters are up over 100% mastery right now. And so you're getting that much more with the so it multiplies with your base damage and it multiplies with the mastery damage.
Yep. Pretty good.
Cool. And I guess to show that we don't hate survival all that much.
This one goes out to Solar.
Right,
Any
to
survival
Solar.
player.
They do have some legendaries of their own. We already talked about Call of the Wild, which are the bracers. They get something called Hellbrine, Rope of the Mist Marauder, which is their belt. Causes your harpoon ability to increase your damage done by up to 30% for 10 seconds after using it on a target. And then it says the damage bonus increases the further away you were from the target when you pressed your harpoon ability. So I guess that's good.
I guess
It's
it's
a neat idea,
I
but it's
mean-
not much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice for target swapping, I guess, but don't think I notice it that much, to be honest. Because by the you actually, I mean, it's not like you can suddenly just burst it down unless you're really prepared for it, right? So,
Right.
eh,
Yeah, and you keep in mind, like, we're melee too. Survival's melee, so this is really something you're kind of starting off with. Because you want to be far away from the target, and it's just a way of bringing yourself into the target to get a little bit of burst in the beginning, I guess. And once you're engaged with the target, I mean, it sort of seems like you lose the benefit.
don't even have a legendary anymore. It's gone.
Exactly. You just have a nice reset, nice belt with probably some good stats for you. And there's Legendaries trapping treads, which are boots, which cause your traps to give you 15 focus whenever they are triggered. And so again, I don't know how good that is.
Same.
Yeah.
All I know is that I will be triggered if I have to play survival.
Yeah. And what do they get? They get Frizzo's Finger Trap, which is a ring that causes your carve ability to spread the lacerate debuff to another nearby target whenever you use it on a target that already has the lacerate buff. I mean, is that their best of their bunch, I guess?
We send
Well,
you.
their AoE is so bad already. I don't know if that's enough of a buff to make it do. So it's buffing it by a good percentage, but it was so low to begin with, it still isn't bringing its AoE on par with anything else. So it's still I don't know. It might be the highest increase, but still be kind of bad.
Just to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
braces are nice.
Yeah. But so there's some good legendaries, like I said, and congratulations to you, Roger, on probably getting what looks to be like the two best for marksmanship. I mean, you can't go wrong there. So how quickly did you get them, like one after the other? I mean, did it take a little while, or was it like just raining legendaries one day for you?
Yeah, I mean, I got my first one during the heroic week, so it was pretty late. I was actually stressing out that I wouldn't get one on my hunter. But yeah, that's when I got the belt, and then the boots I got after progress was over. So yeah, I guess they were pretty fast in back to back, but the first one took me a while. because you gotta remember, like I was playing my hunter a lot for the first 3 weeks, and I didn't get anything. Right.
And where did you get them? Where did they drop for you?
Both in Mythic Plus dungeons.
Off bosses or out of the chests at the end?
No,
It's only
bosses can't
chests.
drop it.
That's only chests. That's right.
Yep.
That seems to be where most people are getting their legendaries now. Whereas in beta, almost everybody got them from emissaries. Those 4 quests you do together. But now it seems like everybody I know who's getting them is out of Mythic Plus.
Yeah, those emissary caches are just the most like disappointing things ever.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't even feel anything anymore when I open them, because I've just been disappointed so much that
Yes.
just give me my order resources, please. That's all I'm thinking.
Hey, I'm the same way. It's just the order resources. I mean, even when, the gear pops out and it's like, you get the little upgrade flash and you just see it blue and it's like an 820 or something. It's just
Yeah.
Wait, what do you do with order resources now? Because I've already done all the upgrades.
Oh, now on my hunter, I don't need any.
Oh.
It's mainly on the alts, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
like the
Well, I'm
alts
behind on my
struggle.
order haul, so I'm behind there, so I still need to collect order resources, but
Yeah, once you get done with the order upgrades or the whole upgrades, then you don't really need much, because honestly, missions are not that worth as well. Like, there's very few things that are like, oh, I really want this. It's just, okay, 600 gold, cool,
yeah.
or a little bit of artifact power,
Right.
okay, but
And I hate that the bonus artifact power you get is like much higher than usually the main reward. I was like, oh.
yeah, I never understood that. Like,
I wish it should be the other way around. You feel like I should get 1,200 or whatever initially, whatever you're, depending on your knowledge, and then a few hundred extra if I get lucky, not the other way
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, I love it. I almost always get those. So I don't think there are any that I can't get at least 174% on. So it works out just fine for me. I like seeing that extra 2,000 drop.
I guess you can use your order resources to get your seals every week instead of gold. I guess
that's true. But if you get the order upgrade for the work order, that you can get 1 seal from there, which it's only costing 25 resources. I was a bit scared because I was like, oh, hope it's not a lot of resources, because then it's not really worth. But then it's only 25 resources, so I'm like, oh, okay. So, and you get it instantly as well. So effectively, you can use 1,025 resources and 1,000 gold, and it's pretty good value.
Yeah, that is
all
not
3 seals.
That is nice. That's nice. It'd be great if it was like a 4th seal. That would be awesome.
Yeah, then everyone would get it. You can actually get an extra seal if you do. It's the bonus loot from the mission for the raid boss kill.
Yes.
Which is pretty nice. So make sure you get your followers up 8 to 850 and go for that extra coin.
Yes, I got that one time. It was very nice. And the seals are the seals. I mean, they're I don't know. It's hard to, I don't completely, you always want to get gear from them. So I've actually done okay. I think it's been about 50-50 so far.
Actually, I've gotten 4 loots from my coins in Mythic.
Have you?
They've given me 1 loot, and then I took 4 for myself, right, with the coins. I always trust my coins, man. I don't know. I'm pretty lucky in at the start of a raid, usually. So, yeah. Haven't coined an 895 yet, though. Or I don't have a single 895 yet, let's just say. But I've seen a raid finder item 895 with a socket and a tertiary stat. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it is nice that you can get those chance for those upgrades, from almost any source. It always gives that little bit of hope every time you kill something.
Anything can happen. That's the motto of this expansion.
If only it would happen.
Yep.
Right. Which, as they say, has been good and bad. I mean, it may have made this initial raid tier a little bit easier than it ought to have been, perhaps. But
Yeah, I don't know. I do think though that like I don't like the system as it is now. I think having no power over the RNG is really annoying to people, and I still don't get why. Like I've been saying this even from previous expansions. Why can't you somehow? I don't care about which system it is, right? I don't care. Figure it out. Like, do you want to use Obliterum or whatever? Do you want to use Blood of Sargeras? Do you want to use whatever? I don't even care. To make an item, you know, go up 10 eye levels or something so that it reaches the cap. So you can have some control, and if you got an item 885 instead of rolling that extra 10 eye level, you can still make that happen. And obviously, you know, don't make it so that it's super easy to do like it was with the upgrades in WoD towards the end, but make it so that, you know, you can maybe up 10 eye levels every week on an item, and that's it, right? Or maybe every 2 weeks, so that you really have to think about it and you're not just going to randomly use it, but it helps achieving that goal of, oof, I got the best in slot item and it feels good, right? Like right now, it's just not going to happen.
Well, it also makes it feel like you earned something, like you were working for it and earned it, as opposed to just, you know, being lucky. And then I don't have any ownership over this gear. I just got lucky.
Yeah, because I think artifact power is gonna get pretty, like, you won't even really care about it. In a month from now, maybe 2 months, you're gonna be just, you know, like, it's gonna hit you with a sort of apathy, I think, because it's gonna take so long to get the next point, and the next point is not even gonna be that big. You know, obviously, once you've put all the points and you get that 5% damage boost, obviously that's big. But, you know, there's gonna be a time period where you just don't really care so much, so it doesn't feel like you're earning that much. And when you see people get, and you're still never getting that 8 socket item that you would get excited about, it just feels so bad. I don't know, it feels like you're banging your head against the wall, just waiting for the RNG to be lucky. You know, it's just, I don't know.
Yep. Overall, though, I think it's been a much better expansion than WoD was. I mean, I've enjoyed it a lot more, and, you know, not just sitting in my garrison going, is it time to raid yet? You know, is it Tuesday yet? I'm actually out doing things, and there's certainly incentives to run the dungeons more than there was during the last expansion. So I think they've certainly corrected a bunch of things that were problematic with Warlords of Draenor here. So that's good.
Yeah, definitely. I think the only problem, which is going to be an actual problem, in my opinion, and people are not going to be happy about, is when you make an alt like in the middle of the expansion. Like, you basically...
Didn't they say they were going to fix that or add some kind of catch-up mechanic for...
I mean, there is
you
a
already
catch-up
had
mechanic.
a full artifact weapon?
Oh, yeah? It's like even more catch-up? Okay, I don't
That's
know.
what I thought. But
I thought I heard... I don't have the
yet.
details of it, too, but I thought they were going to try and do something to make it a little bit easier for alts down the line.
Well, I thought they said that they were going to reduce the time for artifact knowledge, and that would naturally reduce the time to level up your artifact weapon because of the bonus.
Yeah, like that's already in the game. But you can, instead of having 5 days for the next research, it's 3 days, right? That's as low as it gets, at least for now. In the beta, it was going down to 1 day as well. But I think they didn't like that, so they made it 3 days to be the minimum that you have to wait for one research. And you still don't catch up fully, obviously, right? But the problem is, even if it's if you always have 3 days only to wait, I mean, it's still a long time, right? Like, I'm already at level 9, or what is it, artifact knowledge. 3 times 9 is 27 days. So I would have to wait with my alt 27 days to get the same artifact power as my main right now if I leveled it up today. and that's just going to get worse and worse. So I really hope that they make some kind of catch-up mechanism even bigger, because right now they basically incentivize people to make every single alt you might want to play in this expansion right now. Start your research and do nothing else but the research. Like, just log in, put the next research on, log out, and do that for a couple of months, and then you can play the game with that alt, because it will just feel so bad getting 500 AP when your main is getting 5k AP. It will just feel terrible and a waste of time.
Well, that's why they made that app, right?
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, right.
So you can't do that. I don't know. No, it's it definitely. I do find myself going to that quite often, even if I know that there's nothing coming up. I still just check in once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
The app is unfortunately just a way to waste your resources, not really use them.
Well,
yeah, that's the problem with alts. You really need a lot of resources. Jesus.
Maybe they'll make some sort of item that you can like trade between your character, like a Battle.net account bound that you can give resources to your other character. No, they're not going to do that. As I'm saying that.
No, they're opposed to things like that, or even making things like, they already said they were not going to make like reputation, for example, account bound, right? That.
Yeah, but you can actually trade things from your main if you're exalted, I think, or can you do it even before? I'm not sure. At least the ones from the missions, right? The 250s. I mean, it's not big, but I think his reputation is not really a huge thing anyways, right? Like,
yeah, they said that they were going to unlock world quests.
Yes.
Like, you didn't need to be friendly with everyone on your alts. Once you unlock world quests on one character, I think they said that they were going to...
right. And Court of Stars and Archway also, I think.
That's right. Yes, that's what I heard too. Yes, they'd make those a little bit more accessible for the other characters.
Oh, so you don't need the 12,000 revered?
Mm-hmm.
8k into revered. Yeah.
Yeah. So once you have a tune that's done all that once already, then they'll unlock it for your others.
Oh, thank goodness.
Now, when that's going to happen, I don't know. Maybe 7.1. Maybe that'll be a 7.1 thing. But yeah. So
I've one last thing. I have not seen anything about the Karazhan dungeon. I don't know if you guys have seen, but I really don't want to spoil myself. I'm really excited about that, actually.
Yeah, I haven't gone onto the PTR at all, and I know there are some videos out there with some strategies, I think, and things. I think like the guys at the Fat Boss have a Karazhan video, but I have not looked at that. Kind of for the same reason. I'm just sort of curious to see what's in store for that. It was such a fun raid back in the day, and it's nice to be able to go back in there. And so it's just a mythic dungeon, correct? That's how they've designed it, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some pictures. They look cool, but I haven't really seen what the bosses do or any of that. So.
No, and I don't even know who the bosses are. I don't know if they're different bosses or if they're going to repeat some of them. I think there's like a new opera event of some kind, for example. So that's probably a little different, but an opera type event. And I don't know much about any of the other bosses. Like I said, I haven't really dug into it much at all.
Yep. We shall see soon enough, I guess.
Yeah, we should.
Should be out in around a month or so.
So, well, we've come up on an hour here, and I think I've got some other things to do today. So I think we'll wrap this up for this week. On that note, you have been listening to episode 247 of the Hunting Party Podcast. I'm Darkbrew from thebrewhall.com and the Brew Hall on Twitter.
I'm Delirium from Thrill of the Wild and at Delirium Hunts on Twitter.
And I'm Roger Brown from methodwow.com and at methodroger on Twitter.
All right. Check us out on iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, or add our RSS feed to your reader, and these links will be available in the show notes.
If you have a question or a topic you would like us to talk about on the show, email us at huntingpartypodcast@gmail.com or send us a tweet at huntingpartypod.
All right. Stay thirsty, my friends. Remember to drink your dark brew lager.
Siempre prestar la emoción de lo salvaje.
And find the true method of hunting.
All right.
Dark Lady, watch over you.
Yay.
Life stealer. 'cause I can jump shot. BM, MM, and SB, I can rock out any tree. Never worried about my threat, 'cause I've got FD and misdirect. Catching loose mobs in my traps. I never miss, 'cause I am hit capped. 'Cause I'm the hunter, not the marked. I'm the fighter, not the spark. I'm the kiter, not the kite. I'll top the meters every fight. Raining hand-game, dealing death. Just me, my gun, and my trusty bed. Now let's begin with Illidan, Osirian, and Gil'jadan, Magdamar, Asgalor, Gruul, Cthulhu, and Razorgore, Onyxia to Ragnaros. Which one have we killed the most? Kel'Thuzad to Malagos. We even killed the Kama's ghost. Feels like we're getting close, all that running as a ghost. Anubarak, Yogg-Saron, Thorian, Sartharian, Nycthurodon, Sapuron, Lucifer to Sulfuron, Archivon,